Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed by the guests and hosts of this show are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the company or the show itself.
Good day, Explora bookworms. Welcome again to the program where we explore and talk about books, Explora Talks. But this time, our episode is Road to Manila because the Explora Books team is coming to Manila in the Philippines. It's the country in Southeast Asia, and this is where the literary world in the Southeast Asia and the Asian nations gather together to celebrate literature. And we're very excited because this is our second time to fly to Manila and participate in the Manila International Book Fair, and we're bringing a variety of books right there at the SMX Convention Center in Pasay City in the Philippines. And so for those readers of Explora books right there in Manila, please be excited. Meet us there at the booth. It's gonna be a time full of enjoyment and just sharing of stories and amazing discoveries of books right there at the SMX Convention Center. And today, we're very excited in this episode of Road to Manila to talk about the books of a particular author whom we so love. And that is the author of several books. One of those books is this one right here on my side, that's Sins of the Parents. And she's actually been to the London International Book Fair with our team. She's also been to the Frankfurt International Book Fair with our team. And so we are again gonna be seeing her this time in Manila. She's gonna fly really long from the US to Manila this coming October, and we're very excited to meet her and greet and she's very excited as well to meet the readers right there in the Philippines. Let's all welcome our very prolific author and a poet at the same time. Actually, she started as a poet, Claudette McLennon. Hello, Claudette. Welcome to Road to Manila.
Well, thank you so much. I am glad to be here.
We're so glad. Yes, we're so glad. We're just very honored and privileged to have you because you have been our friend more than just, a business partner. You're like a friend to us, and we have met several times and we've enjoyed the book fairs. We enjoyed meeting a lot of people in these book fairs in Frankfurt, in Germany. We've been to Europe and in London, and this is such an exciting opportunity to finally go outside of the West and travel to the East. How do you feel about that?
I am so very curious about everything. I can't wait to get there. I want to absorb a lot. I want to see a lot. Most of all, I am interested in the food.
Yes, of course.
Yes, the food is a big pull for me as well.
Yes, and yes, it's a tropical country, and so we're not gonna be wearing our jackets anymore because the last time we were in London and Frankfurt, the wind and the low temperature is just so hard to deal with. And so this time we're just gonna be on our t-shirts, and if you want to wear shorts, I believe I'm a Filipino, by the way, and although I do not come from Manila, I know the weather very much. It can be sunny and sometimes it can be rainy, but most of the time it's really warm. So we're gonna have fun there with a tropical breeze of the Philippines. Now let's talk about your book because this one's gonna be brought to Manila. In fact, this is now being printed and we're gonna be distributing right there at the booth of Explora Books in the Manila International Book Fair. Let's talk about Sins of the Parents. I know very well the story of this book because I've read this myself. It is about the story of Marlene. This is a story about a child of Anne and George Tulloch, but unfortunately, she has had a very, a very not so normal, not so typical experience. Am I right? I think I'm not the right person to talk about this book. I think it's best that you talk to us. Let us see through the lenses of Marlene this time, Claudette.
Okay, Marlene, you meet Marlene at 12 years old, and she's living with her maternal grandmother, Estrella. Marlene is orphaned. Her mom died like 7 days of giving birth to her. She died from complications of childbirth. And Estrella adopted, so to speak, Marlene. However, although she took Marlene in, she was not a very nice grandmother, at least to the point where you meet Marlene. Marlene was sort of abused in the sense, in every sense of the word that you can think abused. And I'm not going to make excuses for Estrella, but she could not see that she had something of her daughter, just somebody who took her daughter for her. So she did not love the baby. And to make matters worse, she ran off the father, George. She ran him off, get out, get out. So she was just there with that grandmother. And she was never loved. She was never hugged. She was never made to feel welcome. She knew she was a liability to her mother. And she was teased mercilessly by a lot of school children. Oh, that's the girl who killed her mother, because that's what they said.
Yeah.
So she was in that atmosphere. Very afraid and timid and had a lot of introspection. She reasoned with herself. She talked with herself and all that. She had a dream to leave her grandmother's house. And the vehicle she used, they have an exam that you can take, and if you pass it, you go away from home and all that. And that's what she did. So she studied very hard, and she actually passed that exam. Now, she has 2 older siblings, and the older one, Gloria, if she could live with her. So that would take her completely out of her grandmother's reach. And she went to the city, Kingston, to live with a grandmother. She had all these expectations. She was happy that she had left and she was thriving. But his husband started eyeing the young Marlene. And it ended up that he attempted to rape her and all the rest of it. She's like, what is wrong with me? Why is it nobody loves me? Everywhere I go, it's adverse. And that caused a rift between herself and Gloria.
Yeah.
Then Gloria just leaves without telling anybody. She just didn't come home one day. So Marlene is left there in the house with somebody who attempted to rape her and so on. So her other sister, Sylvia, took her and she went to stay with her friend so that she could finish school, because all this time she was at high school. But during her years there, she had met a young man and they had struck up a friendship and they used to correspond back and forth. And when she graduated from high school, he came and surprised her at her prom. By then he was in the US Navy, so he had to go back. They had just stopped in Miami. He jumped on a plane, came and hopped right back to Miami. That left her like that. She lost her perspective after a while. Her dream to become a teacher was delayed because she got involved with a gentleman and she had a baby. So all that dream, and she was just like sort of drifting because she was down on herself because she felt that caused her older sister to go away. There was no contact, corresponding with her. And it just left those two. And Estrella, her grandmother, died, had a stroke. She died. But the beauty of it is Marlene forgave her. Once she got the stroke, and Marlene saw her for what she was. She said to herself, "Oh my God, my grandmother is pretty," but because she was so brutal to her growing up, or she used to call her. So that's how she looked in her life until that day she saw her vulnerable, lying in the hospital, and all the vitality gone out of her. And it was at that point that both of them made peace. The grandmother confessed what she done to her and asked her to forgive her. She told her, "It's okay, I do forgive you."
Wow.
So that alone helped her to sort of move to a different level. But she had a secret that she wouldn't tell anybody what had happened to her when she was young. And then when her baby was like a year old, her first love showed back up.
Yeah.
And she, oh boy. And he wanted to marry her, and he wasn't judgmental. He wanted to marry her. Was just so burdened by what had happened that she felt that she had to be honest with him. She had to tell him. But the church used to visit. She started talking to the minister, and through him and his, so he's listened. He did not judge her. He told her, you know, your healing begins now. About the Lord and so on and so forth. And she became a Christian because of, and she ended up marrying her childhood love and migrated to the US. So the second part of the book, she's in the US. She is a teacher. She has 4 sons, 4 big guys. This is more or less one was 5'9". And we meet her at the beginning of the book. She is in hospice. And all this that I just said is what she remembered lying down there on the bed. Her mind went to her childhood, and she's reliving, so to speak, all of her experiences from childhood. But I can't tell you the end of it. You won't read it. But suffice it to say, when you meet her, the first page, she is in hospice. And then,
And just recalling the things that happened to her.
yes, to
Wow.
her.
What I love about this book, if I may interject, Claudette, is that there is this there are very quick transitions to the story. But if you look at the book, this is the actual book of Claudette. This is actually just a short read. Am I right? I mean, you can take an hour or two flight, and sit on the plane or sit on a bus or a train and finish this in one sitting, right? I mean, if you're
Yeah.
a ferocious reader, of course, and you finish very fast. But the nice thing about there were a lot of elements that you have mentioned that were transitions to her life, from growing up until she became like this and that. She met a guy and all the other very important elements in the book that we can get lessons from. Now, the very lesson that I see from here, I mean, this is not just an interview, this is a conversation. So, um, I want to say that this is about women empowerment, right? This is to empower women that whatever you've gone through, whatever background you have, and of course, we cannot choose the parents that it's God given. Am I right? And there are some people who are fortunate enough to have very good parents, privileged to have good parents. But there are also some people, unfortunately, who are being abused by their parents. Am I right? And that's a reality of life. That makes this book really very bold. Am I right? It talks about the things that are not commonly talked about by people. And so, for those readers who are watching us right now, if you want a story that will take you through a life that is miserable, but come out of the misery and turn things around. And through decisions in her life, she was able to come out from the turmoil, the challenges that she has faced, and the bad things that where she is planted in was a really very bad soil. Am I right? If we're talking about plants right here, where we were in a very she was in a very bad soil somehow, but she was able to come out from that and still bear fruits. Am I right? And so this is a very inspirational book that you've written. Now that you've taken us to the book's story, let us talk about Let Go. This one is also one of my favorites because this is about letting go of the things that hurts you. It talks about forgiveness. Give us a run through about or a rundown of the story, Claudette, about Let Go.
Okay. Our heroine um, grew up in a single family home, and she grew up thinking that her father, who was a soldier, he died in Desert Storm while he was trying to a landmine. So it was just two people, her mother, Joyce, and herself, and they were very, very close. Joyce developed cancer. She had surgery. And when they thought she went into remission, it just came right back full force. By the time she found out that Vernon, that is Madison's father, was alive, it was like 3 days before she died. And by called him, got in touch with him to tell him that, we had a daughter, because he did not know. He did not know his daughter because he was shipped off to Desert Storm just like that. And we weren't married, there are certain things that govern how you navigate this world when you're in the army. So anyway, information she couldn't get or anything like that. So he didn't know that he had a daughter. And because he got the report that he died, trying to detonate this landmine, she grew up. But Joyce, the day her mother died, and the day of the funeral, she met her father, and she was furious. Yes. And she said, Lazarus, you can go back to wherever you were. I don't need you. I'm almost 18, and since you decided to keep yourself scarce and away, not making us of you. So she wanted not. However, a little spin is that the mother had talked with the father, and she knew her daughter very well. So she stipulated just before she died that Madison should spend a year with her father to get to know him and so on. So it was conflict from the word go. They moved to Mount Vernon. She used to live down in Brooklyn. They moved at the suburbs, one of the suburbs in New York, and went Mount Vernon to live. And, she was very angry. She was a very angry girl for meeting a father who she thought was dead. She didn't want him around. And her best friend, the only person she believed who loved her mother, was gone. So she felt very alone, and she cried a lot, and she mourned her mother and stuff. So once she met her father, the sparks just kept going. But the irony of she's the splitting image of him. You switch face, don't see the difference. Maybe because he had beard, you could, but she looked very like him.
Similar.
And so he had to tell her one time, look at your face. And she said, what's wrong with it? And he said, it's mine. And for the first time, she realized how much he looked in people after that. But, even so, she had siblings, and she got along with the siblings, and she got along with the stepmother, but not with her dad. And they were always arguing, and they were always, fighting. And one day she had read that his mother had sort of snubbed her mother. And like when she went to tell her that she was pregnant, she said, and how many else, something to that. She just said, well, I don't know about that. If my son got you pregnant, then when the baby is born, you take the baby to me and we'll raise you. And if you need money, we pay you off. And the mother was very angry. So Madison, after the mother died, mother kept a diary and she saw all that. So one day when she was living with the father, she had not met the paternal grandparents as yet because they are snowbirds, they winter in Florida, come back, when it's warm, but they were also on a cruise. So when she got there, she never met them. So they don't know what she looks like. She don't know what they look like. And so this day in question, her father had driven by the house where the parents lived. So she knew where it was. So she got on a bike and there the day. She had on a mask. And then when she got in the house, she just pulled it from her face and the mother all but fainted when she saw this person look so much like her son. And she said, who she was and said, I guess I'm a surprise, aren't I? And all the rest. So she ran from the house, got on her bike. While she was pedaling home, the tail end of a truck hit her and she went. So she was lost, couldn't find her. So the father, but when the truck hit, she called out for her dad. And he was working in his shop. He did repairs. He was a mechanic. He heard the call. And he said, he answered and got up and bumped his head. And, his friend is like, why are you answering? And he said, I heard Madison call me. And he said, well, no, Madison is here, but he heard the call. He got on the phone, called, wasn't home. Then he called his friends from the army. They have a group called Shadow because they don't exist. They move quite, almost like spirits. So they're called Shadow and stuff. So got out and they all went and they took different places to search for her. And it was at that point he broke down and he started to cry and he asked God to save his daughter. He just found her, I can't lose her. Save my daughter. And he cried for her mother for the love that he lost and everything. So he was crying and crying and crying until he saw a light. And he started light. He didn't see anybody. It's just a beam of light and he's following. And he found his daughter on the bank being held by a sapling. And as soon as he reached her, he had his gear, climbing gear. As soon as he reached her, he broke. And he caught her and took her in. She had amnesia. She didn't remember her dislike for him. When she woke up, he was the first person she saw. So it's natural that's a person you're going to cling to. And they were going on fine, but he said he wanted her love, honestly. So he would tell her that they never got on until she lost and so on. And he told her, but at that point, it ceased to matter. During the time when she was sick and without the blocks and the things she had set up against him, she saw who he was. He was a good father. He was a kind father and stuff. And as child he had, Jan, she loved Madison beyond reason or understanding since she had just newly come. So that's about it. But they did reconcile, which was the good part. She did get her memory back. She got her back. And So from there, they became a family. Just what wanted, that she
Wow.
reunite with her father. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's my
Wow, what a very good story, Claudette, because it talks about someone who really was like abandoned in life. And finally, there are things that have been revealed to her as she grows and finally get to meet the person who is very significant to her life, but she doesn't find him significant at all, right? I think this is very attractive for the readers um, who have this this about family. This is a story about family, but for readers who cannot forgive someone, I think the main lesson here is to really give chances to people. Am I right? Give the person a chance to show the goodness of someone, and do not jump into conclusions, because we all have this prejudice of a certain people, a certain especially those who are not familiar, whom we are not familiar of. And blood is thicker than water, they say, right? So in the end, it's gonna be all or nothing. It's gonna be forgiveness, or nothing, right? So this is now available, by the way, on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all other leading digital bookstores. So the QR code on the screen, you can just scan it through your phones, and you will see the QR code right here of Sins of the Parents and Let Go. These are two different stories, by the way. This is about Marlene right here, Sins of the Parents, and this one is about Madison's story. And although there are books actually that Claudette has written that are connected to each other, and these are the books Full Circle and Full Circle The Return. We're gonna blow the minds of those who will be coming to the Manila Book Fair, because we will be giving out copies of these books, all of the books actually. And so please do visit us again in Manila. I'm inviting you again to visit us in Manila Book Fair, Manila International Book Fair, and see Claudette in flesh right there, the author of all of these books with the characters that start with letter M. So thank you very much, Claudette, for your time, and we are so excited to see you, and of course enjoy Manila, and to enjoy the weather and the food. Of course, it's something that we also look forward to. We all miss the food in Manila, and so we pray for a safe flight, Claudette, and we're gonna celebrate your books right there in the biggest stage of the Southeast Asian literary scene, the Manila International Book Fair. Goodbye for now, Claudette. And of course, to all our viewers right there, please do grab a copy of the books of Claudette. We have a handful of books right here. Please do grab a copy. The QR codes will be displayed over on your screen right here. If you're watching this on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, please do grab your phone and scan the QR code that's displayed on the screen right now. And it will direct you right away to the Amazon page, wherein you can get a copy and have it shipped directly at the doorstep of your homes. Thank you very much, Claudette. This has been Joel for Road to Manila, an Explora Books or Explora Talks special episode. See you again in Manila, and we hope to see you in all of the book fairs we're going to together with Claudette. See you. Bye-bye.